Well, it's clear now we have to do a lot more spoiler casts.
Yeah, that's clear. Well, we're doing Spider-Man. We're doing Spider-Man. Maybe we can retroactively do Godzilla and Midsommar.
I'm not seeing Midsummer in theaters. No, thank you. I don't like horror movies in theaters. Go in to get scared. There's an old lady farting behind you.
See, I don't do horror films in theaters also, Felk, but this one, Midsommar, I'm going to see in theaters, I think, because some of my best buddies are going to go see it in theaters, and I got to go out with the best buddies.
Live from Cool Boys Central.
You're the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
Hold your dicks and rub your tits.
You'll be ice cold.
Here come the Cool Boys.
Just a young boy.
So cool.
So cool.
So cool.
Oh, it's Cool Boys.
Greetings, Cool Boy Nation, and welcome to the most specialist installment of the. You misspelled specialist, right?
What?
Why is it underlined in red? But specialist is a word. The specialist.
The specialist. Yeah, the specialist. It's the most specialist.
That is how it's spelled. No, it's with an it's with an I. But you're making up a word.
Jehovah is spelled with an I.
Yeah. I know that's a Jewish thing. And welcome to the most specialist installment of the Cool Boys podcast. Hebrew to Latin, I mean. You know what they say? Take me to bed or lose me forever. I'm film fan Felk.
And I'm big fan Ballard.
Yes.
So cool. And Felk, we have emails. So let's open up the Cool Boys mailbox.
TM. We're doing this again.
So but really the reality is that we actually had some people write back to us after listening to us read their emails on air. And of course, I guess that just, started a conversation that we're now in with some of these people. And that was maybe a bad thing to do in one case.
Yeah.
Let's go to maybe the more real email, potentially. Maybe less trolly email.
Yeah, correct. I'm debating whether we want to read the second one, lest we set a weird precedent. Okay, so from the Stark Knight, who is clearly spelled the Star K Knight or the Star Knight, says what in response to his one question email says, "Hey boys, lol. My name is the Stark Knight." Like,
wait, why did he LOL immediately after "Hey boys"?
Because he thinks it's weird that I don't think that this is somebody who knows us. I think this is a fan. The name is my name is the Stark Knight. Like my email clearly shows, and it is a mix of DC's the Dark Knight from DC. Marvel's Tony Stark and HBO's Game of Thrones is.
Yeah, he doesn't say HBO. Don't add to it. Yeah.
Game of Thrones is House of Stark.
I don't like that Game of Thrones is. That's weird.
Along with a smidgen of the Long Night. I know. I'm a dork. Thank you for explaining the difference between rankings and ratings. I understand now. That's a weird.
Yeah, weird. So weird. Oh, wait, the Long Night. That's the Game of Thrones thing.
Yes. Do more spoiler casts. Also, good shit. Do more spoiler casts. Always good shit to listen to on my commute. Thanks, the Stark Knight. Now,
cool.
There's a typo here. Obviously, he meant to write, please do more spoiler casts.
Yeah, he didn't ask nicely.
Yeah, so we're going to do less spoiler casts.
You didn't say the magic word.
We're going to do We're going to let...
Please. All right. I love when Samuel L. Jackson screams please or whatever. Does he yell please?
Yeah, he says please. Please!
Yeah, yells please, yeah.
I hate this hacker crap. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know. I'm no longer taking the time to pull up lines of dialogue to insert that into our podcast. Every time anyone mentions a line of dialogue from any movie,
I agree, but you know what? I have no problem doing now. Adding in Mel Gibson or Christian Bale or anything along those lines.
Well, you have those on. You have those like in every editing project. That's your favorite, probably.
Oh my god! So I always try to drop a couple things whenever I'm editing. Yeah, just there's always 3 things I always try to drop in. There's no question here. Why is it called one question? There's no question.
No, it's a response to his previous question, which is what is the difference between rankings and ratings?
Oh, okay. All right,
Read
whatever.
One question. He's replying to his own email.
We should not have read. We should not have read this one. We should.
Well, we're definitely not reading the next one because.
No, wait. The next one's the good one. Oh my god, I might have to read it then.
I don't
I'll
want to
read
give this voice. Well, all right, go ahead and fine, fucking whatever.
No, I'm not reading this. You have the best voice. If I read it, I have to read it in like a sexy voice, and I can't do that. You have a natural sexy voice.
I feel like he intentionally misspells Ballard
Where?
at the very end in order to
Yeah,
in
what
order to
is
like
that?
illustrate that like or order to convince us.
Ballard
this
is a
isn't-
character in the Matrix trilogy, okay? Everyone, all right, he's played by Roy Jones Jr. He's a major character, obviously.
Is his name really Ballard?
Yes, his name is Ballard.
That character has like one line of dialogue in the third one.
I feel like we can't talk about this email anymore if we're really not going to actually read it.
No,
because
fuck it.
now
Fan 47, which is Aaron fucking wrote us again.
Don't say the name. You have to beep that name.
I'll beep it with the shortest little beep that gets out the fucking vowel. Well, cool boys. Let's close up
Wait,
the mailbag.
You're not reading it? You're not going to read it?
No.
Everyone's on pins and needles right now.
Felk Fan 47, if you're listening and not Aaron, like I assume you are, send a photo of yourself holding up a device, playing the Cool Boys podcast, and let's see if you really are a woman.
Wow, checkmate.
And also, let's find out if Aaron wants to take the time to Google a photo of a hot girl holding up a phone or a laptop and Photoshop the fucking Cool Boys podcast onto it.
Oh my!
Well,
That
cool
would be the
boys.
best. By the way, do that if you are Aaron. Please, for the love of God, do that. That would be amazing.
Well,
And
cool
if you're
boy-
and Felk Fan 47, yeah, give Felk that proof of life, because
Proof of-
I want to see it too.
hold me up a photo of Russell Crowe holding up today's. Oh wait, no, Russell Crowe's not actually the one kidnapped in Proof of Life. It's,
Yeah, it was Meg Ryan's husband,
David Morse.
Yes, David Morse. Yes,
It's
from The Rock.
Underrated but not memorable movie.
I liked the Proof of Life. That was the same guy that did Ray.
Yeah, and
Right.
The Devil's Advocate.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
Well, cool boys, let's close up the cool. Well, cool boys, let's close up the cool boy mailbox and move on to our cool boy show topic: confirmed film fan theories. Because one of them might be as popular as Bigger Luke, and we're trying to ride that Bigger Luke wave,
Wow.
or Bigger Luke wave.
Report preliminary findings.
Not worried about her. We gotta keep him gagged.
Cool Boy Nation, pop your cocks and drop your tops.
It might be interesting and important for you to know.
It's time for our Cool Boy show topic.
Hey, I like that.
Spoilers.
No sweat.
So cool.
All right, let's do it.
All we need is to do a random weird topic, and then have the celebrity associated with that topic become aware of the topic on Twitter
At the same
one
time.
more time. And then we'll do it. Kind of sad that we moved on to the show topic. We completely went out of our free chat time, before the show topic starts. I went right from the Cool Boys mailbox to the show topic. It was all one script. We're supposed to chit chat.
Well, we did. We chit chat beforehand. We're supposed to chit chat before.
Lee Iacocca just died.
I know. It's sad. It'll be no longer evergreen this episode.
What is your favorite Lee Iacocca achievement?
Oh, there's just so many.
Name one.
Driving fast. How about that? Just driving fast.
The 67.
I heard he fucking died blowing his tranny though on his Mustang, right?
He did the Mustang because I would say Chrysler bringing it back, but then Chrysler's dead again, so who cares? The Mustang survives, so the Mustang. The Mustang.
Aw, the Mustang. The Mustang survived. Well, that's great. Let's move on to the show topic because we're in it.
This is where no one would usually say like nobody cares to me.
Yeah.
Well, tonight's show topic is Looper. No,
Looper
not
again.
the classic Rian Johnson film starring Emily Blunt, but instead the website, which tells you things about movies that you already knew.
or they just fill half an article with filler.
Yeah. Popular Looper article from 2011. Avatar is a pretty popular movie.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, they're just a little bit late on informing you of things. I don't know. I have trouble. Like the fucking New York. It's 2 days before 4th of July. Yeah, we're not evergreen anymore. And New York Times just fucking did a full article about why America is not only not great, but it is at best okay. It's like you're the New York Times.
Yeah, I didn't read this.
It just came out. They just published it. And it pissed me off. So now I can't like get much rage against Looper. Looper's not even like particularly bullshitty, I think. Let me just go on Spider-Man credits. Yeah, it's always we explain the post-credit scene from a movie that just came. Like, why? Things in the MCU only adults notice.
Because there's moms out there and dads out there who are like, what's this thing my kid loves so much? I'm going to go check it out. Oh, I need something. Oh, thank God at the top of my Google search, there's this thing. Explains it all and holds my hand.
The best one-scene performances of all time. Okay, some of these aren't. Nothing's pissing me off. I don't know. Maybe I feel like I should apologize to Looper.
I think Looper's just one of those rabbit holes. I mean, it's kind of...
All their articles feel like the things that are at the bottom of pages.
They are. Oh, for sure.
Is that what they are? Yeah. Most of those direct to Looper?
No. They direct it everywhere. But, like, yeah, a lot do direct to Looper. I mean, Looper is that type of, for sure, like that type of article that you would like be like, oh, that's interesting. What is that?
Well, I can tell you this right now. I just refreshed and Looper ad block says 17 ads are blocked on this page. So I wonder what this page really looks like.
Yeah, I know. I love ad block because I have no idea sometimes when you're at a page like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Like this, like some websites I go to that are ad blocked. When I do take off the ad block, I am shocked.
Yeah,
about,
it's like
holy,
a giant ad just like comes across the screen. It's like, you want to buy chinos?
Or
Fuck you.
Or there's 4 lower banners. And you don't even realize that there's 4 lower banners because you have to click on one, and then like all of a sudden it reveals that there's 2 others, and you click on those 2, and it's like, oh, there's a little tiny one that you can't ever perfectly close, and it just sits there and says close ad, and you can't close it. I hate that shit.
The only thing that ever should pop up at the bottom of the screen is just a little thing that says, would you like to know more? And it says yes or no, and you click on yes or no.
Yeah, and what do you do after you see the bug get destroyed? You click no a whole bunch.
And then it goes back to the movie.
And it goes right back to the movie.
All right. So, Looper. Last time on the Cool Boys podcast, we discussed...
Felk, are you happy now that we had some chit-chat? Did you feel like you got enough chit-chat in right then?
I was until you interrupted me from moving on past the chit-chat.
I just wanted to make sure you're happy with your chit-chat. That was good chit-chat, yeah?
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. Okay,
good. We talked about, all kinds of great stuff. So the last Cool Boys episode...
So great.
We discussed film fan theories from Looper, most of which were either bullshit, character explanations that actors came up with, like just overt symbolism that the directors have completely acknowledged is
or
symbolism.
character archetypes just in general.
Yeah, which one's character archetypes?
I forget. Deadpool,
okay.
I think, yeah, right? And the idea of breaking the fourth wall. Even Ferris Bueller they had problems with.
Yeah. Now we're going to move on to Looper fan theories that turned out to be true. Now, of course, true is a weird word to use. I guess they say have finally been confirmed, meaning were the intentions of the creators. Let's move on to the first one. Logan's ending was foretold in the Wolverine.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, that was something that was, I remember this one actually happening kind of in real time. I remember after the Wolverine, people being like, like guessing, like, oh, I wonder if we're going to see that in the next film. And then I remember like Logan, people being like, oh my God, is that the scene directly from the Wolverine when Yukio is like explaining that he's going to die holding his heart in his hand and all that stuff, and the girl's heart.
Even though that's a different timeline that ends in a happy future.
Yeah.
That's depicted in Days of Future Past.
Right. Correct. Yeah.
And Logan has a very different future that maybe this could be after the Days of Future Past ending, but I don't think that the timing lines up. And if so,
I like that one. That's my favorite version of it. That
which-
one right there.
what?
That one you just said. The one where Logan is way beyond Days of Future Past.
the happy ending of Days of Future Past.
Correct.
But that doesn't then. But in Logan, it sounds like whatever happened at Xavier Mansion happened well earlier than. And also, how fucking old is Xavier in Logan then? 160? He's only supposed to be 90 or something.
Well, I mean, if you take it at first class value, I mean, he's who knows? He's 200.
No,
he's 200 years old.
He was born in like maybe 41, 1940.
Oh no, no way. That would mean Magneto's way older than him.
Magneto is older than him.
But he's not like only 5 years older than him or something like that.
No, the opening's in 45, and so Magneto was born in 35.
Right, he's
about
like 10.
Yeah.
He's about 10. It looks like yeah.
So he's about 6
10.
years. He's about 6 years older. Yeah, no, but I think Fassbender is about 6 years older than McAvoy. That looks right.
I guess I always I don't know what it was. I always thought Charles was an older person than Eric.
My point is, I'm just going with. So when does Logan take place?
Dude, who fucking knows, man?
We need the times for when Logan takes place and when the future of Days of Future Past take place. But I don't like any of it. Logan to me should only be considered as a standalone movie with no continuity to the other films.
Correct.
Just casting and character trait continuity.
Right. And as we've talked about in the past, yeah, there's moments in Logan that pick and choose which parts of the first trilogy of X-Men, even that it is technically a sequel of. There are moments when it's like you're ignoring X2, but you're taking The Last Stand.
All right. Yes.
So what is this? So now,
yeah,
this actual spoiler, we actually have James Mangold who actually gets involved and does talk about this particular theory.
So the theory is that I'm just going to summarize. The theory is that in in the movie The Wolverine, the very fuckable Asian girl Yukio, who's a clairvoyant, which is kind of weird for a mutant ability, tells the title character, "I see you on your back. There's blood everywhere." I'm not going to do an accent. "I see you on your back. There's blood everywhere. You're holding your own heart in your hand." Now, this is really a reference to the scene in which he's like digging into his heart later in that movie.
Correct.
But somebody, then the movie Logan happened. The Logan happened.
Oh my God, I was just called The Logan.
In which
X-Men Origins Logan.
The Logan. Logan dies kind of holding the hand, not the heart, but the hand of the little girl, his clone sort of daughter, X-23. And then somebody tweeted at James Mangold, "You had this set up the whole time." and Mangold tweeted back. This is somebody named Maurice, I guess, tweeted. Mangold tweeted back, "And the prize goes to Maurice," which means that he liked being complimented and someone thinking he had set it up the whole time. But I seriously doubt that is a setup, and then he's just kind of trying to take a little bit of credit for it. It doesn't make any sense because unless Yukio is also predicting multiple timelines with very little consistency to the story that she's currently in, I don't really see how that one lines up. Because of course, that movie ends with him not having metal claws, and then all of a sudden, in Logan, he's got his metal claws back.
Yeah, well, it is odd that even between the same director, his sequels to his own films are still standalones.
Yeah, because I think he just said fuck it and said this is a standalone movie.
That's kind of what Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 84 is going to be like. I mean, it's the same director again, and she's just apparently redoing the film. It's weird. Yeah,
it is. It is. Well, because Pine's back. I mean, and I don't think it's a matter of like he's a clone or anything like that.
No, apparently the rumor is that Pedro Pascal is playing Max Power. Not Max Power.
That's Homer's
Homer.
name.
That's Homer fucking Simpson. That's fucking hilarious. No, fucking what's his name? Max something. It was going to be the villain in Justice League 2005, Justice League Mortal.
I don't know.
Oh God, what's his fucking name? It's going to drive me insane.
Well, you go and say I'm going to move on to the next one.
Oh God! What's
Oh,
his
should
fucking name?
we vote? I'm still gonna say that that's just James Mangold like taking credit, but he
Maxwell
didn't really
Lord.
play.
Maxwell Lord.
Oh,
and
Maxwell Lord, of
essentially-
course.
Yes, and then Maxwell Lord, in this version of the film, he has the ability to grant you your wish, and so the idea is that she wished for Trevor to come back. See
Oh,
Trevor
that's
come back.
interesting. Maxwell Lord's a villain on Legends of Tomorrow right now, I think.
Yeah, and he's been a villain, I think, on Supergirl as well, and he was going to be the main villain played by Jay Baruchel, I think, for Justice League Mortal, George Miller's film. That did not happen.
I gave up on that whole universe. In Supergirl's a big factor. I just found its politics too grating.
I heard the second season of Supergirl starts off really good.
Second
and then
season's
like horrible.
Second season does start out pretty good because it at that point it's just like a very sci-fi Superman story, and it does finally deal with the Superman issue of like, yeah, he's out there doing other things, but then it kind of, it's like, why isn't he on it more? Like, why do we? Because why are we following Supergirl then? Anyways, let's move.
Oh wait, but before we move on, actually, so. Do you accept the confirmation for this one?
I already said that. I rejected it.
Or do you think it's bullshit? No, we're doing like a tally at the end of each one.
Do you believe the director's confirmation, or do you think he was just just being like, yeah, I did? No, I don't believe it. I think he's just trying to get extra points.
Yeah, it seems like that he's trying to get extra points, but I will give him that the metaphor, the analogy, it works very well.
All right, moving on to the next one. Oh no, Stan Lee is a watcher. Well, he's not watching anything anymore. This article was clearly written at a time of which there was a lot of time that Stan Lee was still alive.
Right. So this is like the theory that like Stan Lee appearing in all these different franchises and all these different films, and through Fox to Disney's Marvel to Sony's Marvel to I guess he's slightly referenced in Netflix's Marvel as an officer in posters. It's kind of, they wanted to like tie it into something, and James Gunn did it. I always had the thought that he was a watcher, and I always liked that idea. And the fact that James Gunn put that into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, we've talked about this in our Marvel episodes, this particular theory. I love that. But I hate about it is that in the character is called Watcher Informant. Just make him a fucking watcher. Why does he have to be a watcher informant?
So this is they're confused though. Looper is. This is wrong. The idea that it's confirmed that Stan Lee is a watcher. No, a individual director, probably James Gunn, probably with other consent or advice from other people, working for, the MCU, Kevin Feige maybe, said like, oh yeah, make him a watcher. That's funny. That's cool. And that explains how he's been in all these fucking movies at different times. But it's not like when Bryan Singer pulled his dick out of a boy and
Allegedly
did the scene where he's got the garden hose floating upwards and going, whoa, or is on the beach.
Wait, no, the garden hose floating up is Brett Ratner.
Oh, that's right. We don't really know how much Brett really directed, but you're right. The beach would have been him, and he's not next to. He wasn't thinking like someday he'll be a watcher. Like that hasn't been the Tim's story directing fucking Fantastic Four.
Tim Story's Fantastic Four. He was Stan Lee.
That was the first time I believe he was Stan Lee.
Right, and then he was Stan Lee again in several other MCU films.
Captain Marvel.
Right.
So,
but not just Captain Marvel. What else? What was the other one? He was Stan Lee.
He's like other people. He's like Larry King and Hugh Hefner and 2 Iron Mans.
Yeah, he is. I thought he was Stan Lee in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Isn't he Stan Lee in that one?
I don't remember. I don't.
Because he's at the wedding.
I was thinking MCU. Anyways, my point is that every time somebody did a cameo for them, they were like, "Here's the cameo." I seriously doubt that Bryan Singer didn't know what a fucking watcher was. He didn't even know what an X-Men was before they fucking told him what it was. When they offered him the chance to direct,
he knew. He knew they wear black leather suits and they get frisky.
Yeah, and Iceman, fabulous.
Iceman's Rose.
Ass
tulip.
You need some ice. Anyways, my point is that this is not a confirmation of a film fan theory so much as somebody working a film fan theory into a narrative.
Yeah, but I mean however way that works, I mean it works because Marvel's done that with All Hail the King, the one shot with the fact that Trevor Slattery, played by Ben Kingsley, is not the Mandarin, but the real Mandarin. He is out there.
Yeah, but that's like one level below. Like, that's not MCU canon. There's MCU canon. Then I think there's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ABC canon. Then there's maybe the one-shot canon. And then there's finally the Netflix canon, and on par with the fucking Freeform canon.
I think the one-shot canon, yeah.
It's not MCU level.
I think they want it to be, and
No.
I do agree that it isn't, because Agent Carter is a perfect example of the Agent Carter one shot does not match up at all with the series.
Yeah.
At all.
But then finally Endgame brings in ABC canon up one level. So
yeah,
which is why I thought Coulson was going to appear. All right.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? There was another. Oh, we said a long time ago. We're like, Edwin Jarvis, played by James Darcy, was the first MCU character to ever come into an MCU film from an MCU television show that they starred in first. That was actually incorrect. This is very minor. Blackout, the character from like season 1, episodes 18 and 19 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the villain from those 2 episodes, he is in Captain Marvel as the bartender when she goes to meet Fury in the bar.
You sure that's not the same actor?
No, they've confirmed that he actually is the exact same person. That is Blackout. That's just previous, before he gets his Blackout ability to suck light.
I didn't see that. All right.
But you never saw Captain Marvel.
No,
so how would you know?
Still not planning on it. All right,
All
moving
right.
on to Pixar. And it's, oh shit, automobiles overthrew humans and cars.
Wait, this is confirmed?
I want to see how this is confirmed. I know the
let's
theory.
read this one. I don't
Right.
know this one at all. You have to read this one.
I hate Cars, and I think Cars
I
broke
don't- yeah.
Pixar.
I hate Cars.
And
Yeah.
it is this shit. Like, though I watched that whole movie and it's just like, this world doesn't make sense.
No, and
it's a
Cars 2
problem.
is worse. Cars 2 is way worse. And then Cars 3 is the one where they're like, trust me, Cars got back to good again. And I went and I was like, all right, I don't think Cars was ever good, but I'll go check it out. And then I watched Cars 3 and I was like, this is horrible too.
It's weird.
And Cars is garbage.
Is this still from Cars? Cars 2? I didn't realize there was actual car brands. I guess that started with Cars 2. Cars 1 didn't. It was weird. All right. The theory goes, while most people wouldn't think too deeply about a Pixar movie starring talking cars, some adults, this is pissing me off already, and maybe some kids left theaters with a disturbing thought. Where are the humans? After all, it's not like the humans never inhabited the world of Cars. Proof of human existence is littered throughout the entire movie. Aside from the fact that the cars themselves have handles, as Screen Crush, a better website, points out, the action clearly takes place on Earth.
Fired!
What?
Shots fired!
With recognizable landmarks like Route 66 and Hollywood. Heck, we even see the American flag. Yeah. So what exactly happened to us? This is an alternative universe, I think. One fan theory proposed that the cars themselves eliminated humans. As it turns out, that's exactly what happened, according to Jay Ward, the creative director of the Cars universe. So that's probably like someone's cousin at fucking Pixar, and just like, you're creative director of Cars.
Or not even someone's cousin. It's probably at Pixar. It's probably someone's like second cousin twice removed at Disney Animation.
Yeah. According to Jay Ward, the anthropomorphic automobiles simply didn't need the dead weight. Imagine in the near future when the cars keep getting smarter and smarter, even though they look like 90s and 2000s cars, smarter and smarter. After one day, they just go, why do we need human beings anymore? They're just slowing us down. It's just extra weight. Let's get rid of them. But the car takes on the personality of the last person who drive it. There you go. Now, do you still want that hybrid? On the bright side, at least we know which cars Larry the Cable Guy, Jay Leno, and Owen Wilson will drive before the automobile uprising occurs. Fuck
whatever.
Cars.
Whatever.
You fucking ruined Pixar.
Yeah, good for you, Screen Crush. You pointed out something no one cared about.
Every time I meet someone who says they really like cars, I know I'm smarter than that person.
Or they're a child, hopefully.
No, even children should know better.
You know, my kids actually didn't like the Cars films, but they do like the Cars shorts. The ones that are very cartoonish, almost like Looney Tunes cartoons or old Disney cartoons.
That's fine. Because 6 minutes, you can have a totally different, no one in question talks about the logic of fucking, Wile E. Coyote and the Road Runner, because
you mean meat?
They're yeah, that's the sound he makes, because they're short enough. But when you have to sit down and give 90 minutes to 100 minutes of focus to a narrative story, you start like questioning like, wait, this is America and there's fucking states. Is there China? What is China? China has 1 billion people in our world, but only like 100 million cars. So is it really unpopulated? Was there an Iraq war and did people protest it saying no blood for oil? Because cars' blood is basically oil. Are they worried about running out of fossil fuels? Will they all die and cease to exist? How is there a Jay Leno? Jay Leno in the real world is famous for owning thousands of cars. Is the Jay Leno in the world of cars a slave owner?
Yeah. A white slaver?
These are all things I remember thinking in my first and only viewing of the movie Cars. And I hated the fucking point of the movie. The point of the movie was here's this little town, but it's struggling and it's dying, and this hot shot gets stuck there just because it's the movie Doc Hollywood, like just remade with cars and replacing surgery with car racing, and it's really a tragic tale. And I've had people like who say they love cars. Real people say like, no, the point of Cars is beautiful because it tells that really tragic tale of like when like Route 66 or whatever, between California and whatever the fuck was, moved to a new highway, and all these beautiful little towns that used to survive on people driving through them started falling apart. And I'm like, yeah. And new towns on the new highway, were built and people moved there, and everybody who, is capable moved, and stupid idiots stayed in the shit towns that no longer anyone cares about. That's not fucking sad. That's American goddamn progress. That's how we survive. When a fucking small town, falls apart, you move to a better, newer town. Stop whining about Flint, Michigan. Move.
Here's my issue.
Move.
Here's my issue.
Flint, Michigan doesn't need water. It needs buses to get people out of Flint, Michigan. Fuck it.
Well, to get back on Cars, I just don't like it when they make the purpose of the film to be about like how the big highway system, like that type of infrastructure that was done in the 1950s, like, by the great, amazing President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Like the fact that they just are like, oh no, that's bad. Cause yeah, exactly what you're saying. Yeah. All these small towns are still fine. You can go check out small town all you want.
And when you leave Flint, Michigan, for the love of God, don't vote for the same type of policies that made Flint, Michigan in the first place. Right. Although I understand that, yes, the closing the plant and moving down to Mexico. It's almost
Roger and me.
Hey, it's almost, Roger and me. Hey, it's almost as if we should fucking have something to prevent American companies from closing down U.S. factories, outsourcing the factory work to third world countries in Mexico, and then importing it with no effect on their bottom line back into America to sell to fat American consumers. It's almost like tariffs would solve that problem. But oh no, I can't think that that's a good idea unless I be called, the 4-letter.
We don't want to become an alt-right podcast.
We don't want to become an alt-right podcast. Oh no, we're the fucking Cool Boys podcast. Can't have any politics here.
Just cool boys.
Yeah. I can't discuss Cars without thinking about at least politics on some level.
I totally agree. I'll try to rein it down a bit, but the reality is I totally love it. I totally fucking love it. And
is there racism in the Cars world?
There totally is. Cars 2 is all about racism.
Oh, really? I've only seen the first one.
It has super Japanese like stereotypes going on like crazy in Japan and Tokyo.
Wait, there's Japanese so Japanese cars act Asian in Cars 2?
Oh, so Cars 2 is a spy espionage film that follows a racing tour throughout the world, right? And so you go to different countries, and the one that stops is like a Tokyo or whatever.
Was there a World War II in the Cars world?
There must have been at some point. Right?
Was there a Holocaust in the car world?
There was, yeah. They killed all the Jewish cars. They killed 6 million of them.
Oh my God, I don't want to think about this anymore. God,
Felk, there was a point in the Cars world during the Holocaust where it was all black and white, and there was one red car, tiny little red car, just driving down the street, and then later in the movie, Oscar Schindler, Oscar, he actually saw this little dead red car and a heap of other cars that got thrown into a pile of burn.
Miata. Miatas are usually the children in the first cars.
Oh, that's sad. There are Miatas in cars too.
No, they're children.
Yeah. All right.
Moving the fuck on from that.
So wait. So confirmed or unconfirmed? What do we give a shit on that Cars one?
I don't give a shit about Cars. Cars took Pixar from this fucking unimpeachable, like every single movie was a solid good to great, and then Cars came out, and then and then you're just getting fucking like movies about feelings and shit.
Yes, I agree. So, but all said and done, Jay Ward, the creative director of Cars universe, right? Do we believe him or not? Is this bullshit, or is this like the real thing that they have like in a book somewhere at Disney?
I think it's they found one guy at Pixar whose opinion like was like an offhand like, yeah, wouldn't this be funny to explain our shit movie? And people are taking it as real. The real Pixar theory is like that they're all connected in some way, and it's like, no, that's just Easter eggs.
Now that's not confirmed, and there's another whole theory list that we could do another day if we want that are essentially film fan theories that are unconfirmed that should be confirmed.
Let's see how the numbers do for the last film fan theory episode and this one.
I don't give a fuck what the numbers do when I make episode choices.
No, we have to care now. We have to do more spoiler casts.
Bigger Luke didn't care.
The start night.
Him.
Might be our 400 listens. We don't know. All right, let's move it on to something we both care quite a bit about. Superman.
Not just any Superman. Not just any Superman. Henry Cavill. A Henry Cavill Superman.
Yeah.
The best Superman. I'm sorry, Christopher Reeve. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve's still the best, but
Christopher Reeve. George Reeves.
No,
George Reeves.
No, yeah, Christopher Reeve, George Reeves.
Correct.
Both had tragic things happen to them. Well,
Henry, keep your head on a swivel.
Well, seriously. Henry, stay the fuck away from Tom Cruise. Don't
go back to Mission Impossible.
Tom Cruise is protected by Xenu. You are not. He will kill you making one of those movies.
Oh my God, Henry was challenging his fucking like life going on and doing Mission Impossible Fallout. That's
be fair,
his
spoilers for Mission Impossible Fallout. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, he won't be in the next one because he's dead. Unless you're right, you never know. It's Mission Impossible. All right. So the theory is that Superman is haunted by those he cannot save. All right. This is going to be another symbolism.
I think this is something we came across a lot in last week's episode that, sometimes they just don't understand the difference between,
this one even says
symbolism and a
of
theory.
Clark being dragged down. Like Spider-Man or Spider-Man, Snyder.
Snyder-Man.
Zack Snyder-Man. Friendly neighborhood Zack Snyder himself took the time to comment, no, that's right, on the original post. That said the first thing. But,
wait, you didn't read that right. We should probably read that one a little bit.
All right. Remember that epic battle in 2013's Man of Steel? Yes, I do. Where Superman and General Zod duke it out? Yes.
I love that battle. I
do remember it.
I did not get action fatigue during that battle. A lot of people did. I didn't. I just kept going, oh.
Do you know how many innocent people died during that Titanic slugfest?
Uh-huh.
According to director Zack Snyder, what a douche. Probably like 5,000 people or something like that. I gotta do some more reps.
It's a movie, Felk. It's a fucking movie. Who gives a shit?
Died in Man of Steel.
5,000 people died. Who cares? Felk, do you remember the GIF of him breaking the neck to show Henry Cavill and Michael Shannon how the neck break should be? And he's like smiling the whole time as he's breaking the stunt coordinator's neck.
So Mr. Snyder, how many people died in that scene? I don't know. Like, what was 9/11? Like 3,000 people? Like probably twice that, but maybe not fully twice. Maybe like less. Maybe like 5,000. About 5, something like that. 5,000.
He's bloodthirsty. That's what I'm saying. He's bloodthirsty.
I gotta go work out.
Yeah, with that trainer that gets beefy and gets me all beefy.
I'm often wearing an elbow brace. Like I'm constantly hurting my elbow. It's in like 3 different movies I directed. I don't know why. He's wearing like an arm brace in Sucker Punch stills. Directing that, he's also wearing when he's meeting with Chris Nolan. There's like a photo of him for Man of Steel. He's got an elbow brace on the other arm. He's constantly making it clear he's hurting himself, fucking doing like weight training shit because he's doing the same amount of reps that like his personal trainer, who's Mark Twight, I believe his name. The guy, is making like people like Henry Cavill who can like put like 50 pounds of muscle on their frame with a little HGH. But Zack Snyder's a fucking 6 foot or 5'6" dude who does not have the frame, and he's just like hurting himself constantly. He's like, I gotta direct better. And then he takes that pain and brings it into the character of Superman. Like, you should be fucking super tortured.
So wait, what the fuck is this conspiracy theory that's been confirmed? We've barely gotten there on this one.
That that Superman is sad because of all the people died.
They said ghosts. They said he's haunted by ghosts at the top.
No, the ghosts. No, it's just haunted by those he couldn't save. There's nowhere in this article does the word ghost or supernatural occur.
So the conspiracy is that he was haunted by those that he could not save. No shit.
Yes, and then again, it mentions symbolism. Of him being dragged down by the skulls and the Zod vision thing, and of course all the people dressed as like sugar skulls from during the Dia de la Muerta fire in Mexico City.
Day of the Dead, for those who don't know.
Yeah, and it's Mexico City, not Lot 3 at the Warner Brothers studio. Clearly, it's
I think they spent a lot of money, and they went to Mexico City for one shot.
Yeah, it's 2 shots, I think.
No, it's one shot.
Is it crane around? Okay,
it's a long take. Yeah, it's a long take.
Yeah, Superman saving people really should be accompanied by sad faces and sad fucking music and sepia.
Right. So we get to a point then.
I have to say. That's why people love, even though it's only 4 minutes of the movie, that's why people love the fucking Superman saving the airplane space shuttle from Returns, because that the John Williams theme's going, it's happy music. He's fucking the colors are bright. His boy shorts with his cock are nice and bright. See how
they toned him down. They toned down that cock.
See how the Nolan keeps coming back?
He does. Yeah, he does. But that's a great scene. That is a great scene. And yes, they did tone down that cock. I mean, they literally taped down Brandon's Ruth, as we've said before. Snyder himself took the time to comment though and said, no, that's right.
Yeah.
On the original post in which they were discussing, is this symbolism? So yay.
All right, let's
it
move.
Happened.
Let's move on.
And then Snyder goes on and says, Snyder intentionally wanted to put focus on the human cost of these super battles, stating, now this is Snyder, it's not just fun to crash around us in a city. There's a human price.
No,
I think that's the thing that weighs on Superman.
No,
he confirmed.
He fucked up and didn't think about that when he was making Man of Steel. He's like, more buildings should be falling down, and then everybody's like, there's like thousands of people dying, and he's like, I'll make the second movie about that.
Yeah, all about that death. Yeah.
All right.
I think this is confirmed.
Let's move on. Okay, this one's got to be bullshit. Moving on, sticking with Disney, or back to Disney.
Back to Disney.
After one brief non-Disney movie. Frozen's Anna and Elsa are Tarzan's sisters. Well, that makes the lesbian fuck scene. Oh, no, wait. That was just something on Pornhub. That's not the movie. So I haven't seen Frozen or Tarzan. So as Ballard, you'll have to help me through this one.
Well, Felk, what happens is there's a scene of Frozen where the parents early on leave to go on some few-week tour somewhere, just a few weeks away. And they get into a storm at sea, and their ship is wrecked. Now, there's 2 things that I know
Disney
that are
is
apparently...
bloodthirsty.
They love to kill the parents, especially the mothers, because Disney lost his mom. Walt Disney lost his mom. Anyways, so back to the movie.
And he always blamed the Jews.
There's 2 things that There's 2 things that happen to the shipwreck. One, when the ship sinks, it is quote unquote the ship. Now, this is not part of this theory at all. That's confirmed. This is an additional theory that I just know of because my daughter. The ship underneath in the ocean, at the beginning of Little Mermaid, that's the same ship, right? Obviously they're retconning that, right? But that's the ship that sinks and that, Ariel goes in with Flounder, and then the great white shark comes chomping through and scares him away. And
So there's bodies in there?
No, because the parents get off the ship in Tarzan. So in the Tarzan film, so once again, in Frozen, all you see essentially is the ship in a storm, and then a giant wave, takes it over, and one beautiful shot, and then the ship is gone, and it's just not there again. So essentially, the giant wave blocks the shot, blocks the boat in the shot, and then boom, the giant wave's gone, and then the boat's just gone. So you don't know what happens to the boat. So in Tarzan, you quote unquote see what happens in the boat. It catches on fire. It's this massive, carnage, and it's this dad who's lowering a mom with her little baby into a boat, into the ocean, and then Phil Collins is kicking in really hard with "Put your faith in what you most believe in. Two worlds, one family." And then it cuts to gorillas doing this, their gorilla shit in the forest, and so they start doing intercutting. So they juxtapose between this baby gorilla and Tarzan. And what ends up happening is the baby gorilla gets killed by a leopard, and that same leopard goes and kills Tarzan's parents. And then Tarzan's saved by a gorilla who just lost her baby gorilla to a leopard. And she has this whole chase where she gets the baby to save the baby from the leopard. And then all of a sudden it ends and it's great. And then right away again, Phil Collins comes back in and "Put your faith in what you most believe in."
I feel like this could be done more succinctly.
Well, anyways, so that's essentially the whole theory as a whole, right? That Elsa and Anna's parents go on a shipwreck, on a ship, get shipwrecked, go to Tarzan's world island, die, and then their son becomes Tarzan. So whenever I see Frozen, I keep hearing that Tarzan's their brother, and then whenever I see Tarzan, I keep hearing that Elsa and Anna is his sisters.
So this has been confirmed by one of the co-directors, Jennifer Lee and Chris Buck, wondering who did the majority of the work. Chris Buck has confirmed, pretty much that's true. I don't. Well, the Little Mermaid, I don't understand that. I thought Frozen took place in a fantasy world and Tarzan took place in the real world.
Well, Tarzan is somewhat fantasy if animals are talking and he's able to, do all the shit he does in that movie.
Yeah, I guess. I forgot about the animals talking.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. So Anna and Elsa are sisters?
Yeah.
Then how come there's so much fucking lesbian hentai with them?
I don't know, because people are weird. Anna is a horrible character. She's just a horrible character. I hate her so much. And Elsa's fine. Elsa does the right thing. She's essentially a horrible monster, mutant creature freak, and she runs the mountains to get away from everybody because she knows that she'll kill people if they're around her. And Anna's like, I'm going to go bring her back to kill people, essentially. And then, then there's a male character who's amazing in it, and he's the villain, of course. And he's trying to help people by giving them jackets and firewood, but he's the villain, so they get rid of him. And his perspective is, I'm going to save everyone because I'm going to get rid of this fucking witch monster, this ice witch, who fucking could kill us all in a heartbeat and turn summer into winter in a second. And then everyone's like, that's a great thing, but then the girls survive on love or whatever the fuck it was.
Okay, all right. The power of the fucking love. Why is Frozen?
That's the power of love.
You should harness the power of love for political purposes. That's Marianne Williamson.
That is Marianne Williams. Yeah, that was her closing statements.
Williamson. We should have a whole episode about her. She 100% has my fucking vote.
You love her. Why do you love her?
Laura Dern's former roommate. Oprah's.
Was she really? Was she really?
Oprah's spiritual advisor. The
you
official.
Love her?
She performed 30 weddings at Neverland Ranch. All right. Anyways.
Did she really?
Yes. Why is
yikes, dude? Have you seen the documentaries?
Yes, I have. Well, no. I just heard the synopsises of them.
Oh my god, I watched them with my wife, and we were just fucking floored.
I was gonna ask another Frozen question, but let's not actually. Let's skip forward because this next one.
Put your faith in what you most believe in.
Spider-Man. Next theory: Spider-Man made his MCU. That's MCU for you non-nerds. Spider-Man made
I love all the nerds right now. We're like, MQ, of course.
Spider-Man made his MCU debut.
Or debut. for you non-nerds.
In Iron Man 2.
Dos for you Spanish speakers.
Is Iron Man 2 the only numerical sequel in 3?
In 3, yeah, and that's because they were so excited to be able to have sequels that they did. I'm paraphrasing, I think, from Feige.
No, Volume 2. Volume 2 counts.
No, wait, Volume 2. What are you talking about? Volume 2?
Guardians.
Oh, sure. But but at the time they went with this the numerical for Iron Man because they were just like, it's so good, we're doing another one. Oh yeah, Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3. But
yeah.
Once they moved on to Thor, they realized or Captain America, they were like, oh yeah, we really shouldn't do that anymore. And I really have a strong feeling that Marvel is going to start staying away from franchise names. And because if you look online
I think
and
so
stuff,
too.
you see Marvel Studios and then you see the name of the movie, Black Panther. So it's filed under M.
No, it'll just be Marvel's Secret War. You know?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like Captain America should almost have been. I mean, don't get me wrong. Captain America: Civil War is definitely.
It should have
Captain
been
America
Marvel
film,
Civil War. I agree.
but it could have easily just been Marvel Studios Civil War.
I agree. The problem is I think Civil War might have been the issue with that one because there's already this thing called the Civil War.
Right.
But
I think moving into Phase 4, I think they might have more leniency with a lot of their current, franchises ended.
Yeah, and there'll still be a number because Volume 3 still counts for Guardians, and that's still, I assume, will be the title.
It has to be, right? You wouldn't call it Volume 2 unless you had the forethought and the foresight to call it Volume 3.
Yeah. All right. So do I need to read this one? We know this. This is the little kid in Queens in the denouement of Iron Man 2 that holds up his hand, is about to get murdered by a robot controlled by a Russian man.
I know, it's crazy. You watch that scene, you're like, oh my God, Peter Parker's gonna die.
Yeah, pre-bite Peter Parker, so he has no powers. And then Iron Man, of course, takes out the drone and says, "Nice work, you fucking kid," or "Nice fucking work, kid."
Yeah, no. He says, "I will fucking kill you."
That's what Optimus Prime says, silly.
Yeah.
And then the kid waves as Iron Man flies away. And then people are like, "Hey, Peter Parker's from Queens," and the age kind of lines up. Yeah. And then Kevin Feige's like, yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's it. It's Spider-Man. We knew that someday we'd be able to buy Peter Parker back from Sony, but not until they had fucking done another failed reboot of it. Because they had no intention of ever letting us use that character.
That's not true, because that is okay. I know for a fact that they wanted to figure out a way to put Peter Parker into the Avengers film, the first 2012 film.
Yeah.
There's going to be a scene in downtown Manhattan during the alien attack where there's going to be a family in a station wagon, and there's going to be parents in the front seats and a child in the back. And the child in the back was going to be Peter Parker. It was never going to be called Peter Parker, but the idea was that was going to be Peter Parker. So yeah, maybe they just had a kid, and
that
maybe
didn't
it was
happen.
supposed to be or not.
That didn't happen because Amy Pascal pulled her cock out of her mouth, did a line of blow, and said, "No, Spider-Man's ours," and cast Andrew Garfield.
Wait, you went sexual last time I said it, and you were like, "Oh, you went sexual right away," and because I said she was getting fisted.
Well, fisting's too much.
Oh, I'm sorry, I guess.
So this is just a retcon, basically.
It is. I guess it is, but I like to think of it because, I mean, people definitely thought of it then, and who knows? I think Marvel does a lot of retconning, honestly. Like, I do think Mandarin, at the time Iron Man 3 was made, was supposed to be Guy Pearce's character, Aldrin Aldrich Killian. But and that later they're like, yeah, we're gonna change it in that one shot, right? We talked about earlier. But I think that retconning is fine in this situation. And yeah, it's Peter Parker. I mean, Tom Holland literally said it when he was asked by the Huffington Post, it is Peter Parker. He says, I can confirm that is Peter Parker. And then Kevin Feige literally said later, I can confirm that as of today, I literally had a conversation. This is Holland. He says, I can confirm that as of today, I literally had a conversation with Kevin Feige only 20 minutes ago. Maybe I've just done a big old spoiler, but it's out there now. It's cool. I like the idea that Peter Parker has been in the universe since the beginning.
I like that his HUD, by the way, Iron Man's HUD highlights the face of the little Iron Man, kid, a little Peter Parker. Like it's targeted onto him. Like all Tony would have to do is, twitch the button part of his fucking
whatever he does, it does it.
And he could have easily killed the kid because the suit didn't know that it was about to be fighting drones.
No, it doesn't. Here, you know what I'd like to think though, Felk, actually, is that might have been the scene in which Peter Parker's parents were killed. Like they were killed by those drones firing off those shots, or they were bystanders when Tony Stark was flying by with like drones flying behind him, shooting off all kinds of like 50 caliber rifles at him. What if his parents died then? We could have seen the origin.
Well, no, Uncle Ben, I was saying that could have been Uncle Ben, but Uncle Ben apparently happened recently enough that it still feels recent.
Yeah.
In
Homecoming,
but not so recent that Aunt May, who he just calls May, he doesn't call her Aunt May, he just calls her May, is not visibly distraught by it.
Or she's putting on a really strong facade.
And even 3 months earlier, about 3 months earlier when Civil War happened, she was totally down getting fucked by Robert Downey Jr.
Right. Or she's just really nice and flirty and has no clue. Have you ever met girls like that who have no clue they're super flirty?
I tend to have sex with them.
Wow. Well, there you go. Good job, big guy.
If you flirt with me, I will flirt back.
I heard this rumor. I think it might have been Screen Junkies, but it was or not rumor. It was this fan theory. And just to mention, because we're talking about Spider-Man, that Keanu Reeves, what if they casted Keanu Reeves as Uncle Ben and you saw in a retcon and like a flashback that, you know, Keanu Reeves was his Uncle Ben all this time. He'd be the same age. He'd be perfect age for Marissa Tomei. And then so Aunt May would be fine. And then at the same time, he'd be that cool uncle that would have, like, you know, shown him all these 80s films like Empire Strikes Back and Aliens. And
it'd be a waste. It'd be a waste of Keanu. They wanted for Adam Warlock, and I think
no, because then if you watch Keanu get killed, you would be so sad.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever do Uncle Ben.
You do know that Keanu is being tried to be worked into the MCU somehow, right?
Yeah, they want him for Adam Warlock.
Ooh, that'd be good.
That'd be perfect. That's perfect casting. Adam Warlock's supposed to be a perfect human being.
Wow, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's the obvious uncast major player that he would fit best for.
All right. Okay, cool. Well, I confirmed. I'm fine with saying this one's confirmed for me.
He'd be a good Mr. Sinister too. I guess they have that, and I have a feeling Mr. Sinister's gonna be the first villain they do with X-Men.
He has to be, right?
Yeah.
Do you think this one's confirmed to you or not?
What's the theory again? I gotta go
that
back.
Peter Parker was in.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's confirmed in that Kevin Feige says, "Oh yeah, it is."
Yeah, but I mean, are you okay with that? Like, are you comfortable moving on, thinking that's confirmed, or you're like, no?
No, I don't think they ever thought Spider-Man when they filmed that scene. I don't think they ever were thinking of Spider-Man.
You do remember though that like later in that movie, only maybe like 10 minutes later, they have a whole scene where they like essentially hint at Namor. I mean, on the map, they hint at Wakanda on the map.
They throw in shit like that all the time.
So why would they not throw in a possibility that kid could be Peter Parker someday?
Because when they throw Namor on the map, it's obviously Namor based on the location of the dot and like the Wakanda one and all that shit. But whereas like that's just a kid, and I feel like in order to make that work, they really emphasize the Queen's nature of Spider-Man. They never mention Queens in all three of Sam Raimi films. He's just Manhattan.
He's super Manhattan.
So it's like they really did up the Queens, and that's partly to do the contrast with how much Brooklyn is in the first Avenger, and to have that like one little exchange and that little contrast between the two of them. But a lot of it's just to tie in, like, yeah, the big finale of Iron Man 2 was in Queens. And by the way, that it's during that. Speaking of that scene, it's during that scene when Rhodey is still controlled by Whiplash, and Natasha's trying to like undo it at the computer room. That Tony specifically says, you got to get me back control. Of Rhodey. I need to own him. He says the words, "I need to own him."
Does he really say those words? Oh my god.
It's like,
wow. That was, you know who wrote that movie? Justin Theroux.
Yeah. Justin Theroux, you know, I can't hate Justin Theroux. I can't.
He's got a huge dick.
It's pretty good. It's actually a plot point in The Leftovers that he is a big
Is
fan.
It really? I started it, but
it's in a dream. It's in a dream, the fact that he is a unique dick.
Okay.
But
well, I will get back into that show at some point. I like thinking of it as the in-between of Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, it is it's the same basic concept, except really depressing. and dark.
So next time I MCU binge, as soon as I hit Infinity War, I'll stop and just do all of Leftovers and then jump back into Endgame.
Next one is Chief is a demigod in Wonder Woman. This is
You've said this one before.
Yeah. Well, I liked the character of Apache Chief. They would probably not call him that. I think they just call him Chief in Wonder Woman because that's a little weird to call him something so on the nose. But the idea
unless
is that,
he was an Apache Chief, then it wouldn't be weird.
well, it'd be weird to call him Apache Chief. It'd be like if a Asian dude was like the governor of Kentucky, and rather than calling him by his name like Jeff Chang, you just called him Asian Governor.
No, you can't call him Asian governor. No. You call him Japanese governor, because what if there's a Chinese governor nearby?
Yeah, okay,
you don't
fine.
want to get him confused.
You call if he's Japanese or Korean. If he's Korean, you call him Korean governor. That would be the same thing as why it'd be wrong to call a Native American person who happened to be a chief Apache Chief, as though that was his name.
I would say Apache Chief, and then I'd look over and I'd be like Sioux Chief, and I'd look over and I'd be like Blackfoot Chief. Like I'd have all these chiefs there, and I want to make sure they all knew who I was talking to.
You're still doing better than Elizabeth Warren when it comes to respecting Native Americans.
I am?
Yes.
Yay.
All right. Do I need to read this one? I don't think I do. Because
because I don't think I really understand this one, to be honest.
Right.
And you were telling me about this one a while back.
Do you not know who Apache Chief is?
He's a DC character.
Well, he's from Super Friends, specifically, which I watched as a little one, as a kid.
No, I know of Super Friends. I've watched maybe
Well, you got to remember that I was limited to what kids TV shows were not only available on beta, but also were available to rent in the weird beta rental store in these, suburban Texas area.
What was it? Rent-A-Center? What was it
Well,
called?
no, there was a mom and pop that had the betas, but Rent-A-Center was the bigger
big
one, but further away. But it wasn't open first. I think Rent-A-Center got betas later.
Gotcha.
Because beta was new technology.
Well, did you like that when you got into production and you were like, hey, we still use beta there? Well, for a while, obviously, now we don't. But I mean,
it's dead now. But no, I did. And when I opened up the giant beta, the first time I did it was that name redacted place we worked at, because I don't think I had worked with a beta in film school, and I saw that the tape was the same length as it was in consumer betas. I was just like, oh, neat.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
right?
It's
essentially
that
it was
the
beta
reason.
SP, essentially.
Yeah, the reason why they're huge is because that was the problem with beta tapes, is that you could only fit one fucking hour just under 2 hours, like an hour and 55 minutes onto a consumer beta tape. So any movie that was 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 20 fucking minutes had to be on 2 goddamn tapes.
Wow,
I wonder why it lost,
VHS.
and it costs significantly more than VHS. I wonder why it lost.
Yeah.
And it had no equivalent to EP record or LP record. So because people don't realize that most porn sold on VHS, you get 6 or 4 hours of porn on one VHS because it would be in the shittier version of record.
Yeah.
But there was no equivalent. And porn's why VHS beat beta in the long run. But ultimately, the tape length was a problem too. Why? It was who created it? I want to say JVC, or not JVC. That's Jean-Claude Van Damme. Or no, wait.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, JCVD.
Yeah,
Jean-Claude Van Damme. JVC though, you're right. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know, to be honest. You're in areas I don't understand.
Created the
I understand it, but I don't know.
Surely they should have just figured out, we have to make the cassette just a little bit bigger. Yes, it will cost more, but every movie ending at 1 hour and 55 minutes, and then you have to pop in a new tape, is gonna fuck over consumers who don't really care about.
For sure.
A few extra
think how big that would have been. Every box set would have been one movie.
Why are we on this? Why are we talking about this?
It's crazy.
Oh, because that's how I watched Super Friends. So I know the character. Apache Chief would say, "E day, Chuck," and he would get big. That was his power.
Yes, right. You've said that before, yes.
Yeah. So the theory goes, when Wonder Woman hit theaters, Moviegoers everywhere were impressed by Gal Gadot's ass and the overall quality of the film. Some, of course, even left the cinema with a few clever fan theories, perhaps the biggest one involving the supporting character named Chief. Chief doesn't get a particularly large amount of screen time in Wonder Woman, but one specific scene has led popular fan theory that he's actually a demigod. When Diana first meets Chief, they have a brief conversation in Blackfoot. That's a forest, I think. Some of this
it's an Indian. It's a Native American tribe.
That doesn't make sense. They're not in America when they have that.
No, in Blackfoot. I think they're talking about in that language.
Oh, okay. The language. Some of the conversation doesn't receive English subtitles, including the part where Chief apparently introduces himself as Napi, who, according to Native American lore, is a god of creation. So does that mean Chief is in fact a demigod? Well, according to Chief's actor Eugene Braverock, the character is just that. When IO9, oh god damn it, we have to go. Fucking
IO9's fine.
No, it is not fine.
What happened to IO9? I haven't looked at him in years. I used to love
it doesn't exist anymore, for one thing. It's been folded into Gizmodo, and it's run by two trans people which is nothing wrong with that, but they was run by them, and then it's 50% science fiction reviews based on wokeness, and 50% just anti-Trump bullshit.
Really?
So, yeah, it's like all of fucking the Gawker sites.
Well,
go to the fucking former Gawker, now Gizmodo media groups. Go to their fucking food blog, The Takeout, and see how many posts you can get before they mention either Trump or Republicans in general in a negative light on a food blog.
wait,
you'll get it'll be less than 10 articles at any given time. It's like
weird. Just
write about food. Why do everything from the perspective? The reason Gawker failed was because it was driving away, its fan base, causing a devaluation. It wasn't like Peter Thiel just like took down a fucking powerful beast. It was corrupted from within. He fucking plunged the dagger through Terry Bollea.
Interesting.
And the failure was that it was purging clicks. It was losing clicks constantly. And the solution, because they just promoted from within when Fusion. Not their Fusion, their Fusion, which became Splinter, but the Fusion Media Group that bought them, which also in Univision, promoted them from within. It was like, yeah, keep being you. And they just injected Gawker into all of their other sites and caused a bunch of other weird verticals. They had so many verticals. It's like just specific stuff. Like, I care about boats and hate Trump. Like, how many people do you think are going to your specific subset of Jalopnik to read that? The concourse? Oh, I like
Jesus
sports
Christ,
blog,
you just opened up
a sports blog that also views everything from politics. So like a third of her posts are about Kaepernick, and that also has a
wait. Deadspin gone?
No, Deadspin's still around, but Deadspin also has a vertical now called The Concourse, which is the Deadspin writers, the sports writers, talking about politics. Now, never mind the fact that there's also The Root and Splinter and Jezebel, which are all specific versions of political sites for women, black people, and whatever Splinter tries to be.
What is it? I don't know.
Splinter is formerly Fusion, which was formerly the political wing of Gawker, but then they got bought by a place called Fusion, so it was confusing. So they took.
Do you ever go to Fleshbot?
They changed their word. Fleshbot's been dead since 2010,
Fleshbot's
2012.
Dead?
You think they're gonna review porn in the current state that they're on? All porn is rape. According to Jezebel, I mean, that's an over exaggeration, but not by much.
What is this new Gawker Media world? They used to have Fleshbot. Now let's go.
Have you not gone to their sites? Do you not go to them?
I don't know. I don't go to Gawker.
I check them every day because I need to know how many minutes to midnight we are.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Hey,
and the answer is not many.
What did Eugene Braverock say about his character to?
Please don't put concrete in a milkshake and throw it at me through the internet. We're now Nolan's never coming back on this show.
It's way too political.
All right. Where are we?
What did actor Eugene Braverock say?
Well, none of this mentions the character of Apache Chief, who I don't know if he was actually a demigod, but that's it. He said, yeah, Blackfoot cultural hero and demigod. The actor answered back that that's what he is. And not only is this another example of a cool tidbit discovered by fans and confirmed by an actor, but this means we're almost certainly we haven't seen the last of Chief in the Wonder Woman series, unless we probably have, because like who knows what the sequel is.
Well, there you go.
All right, sorry about that. Sorry about that.
It's all right. No, it didn't make it hard to follow that conspiracy theory at all being confirmed. I would say I agree that the theory is confirmed.
Fan theory.
Fan theory, yeah. Film fan theory confirmed. I actually rewatched Wonder Woman recently. We showed it to the kids. They loved it.
Yeah, it's not particularly violent, is it, for a PG-13?
It is, and it's my wife and I were laughing that this is the kids' first war film. This is their introduction to war.
What about the Chris Pine holding his dick? Did you skip through that?
Oh my god, no! But my daughter fucking loved it. She was just like going ape shit watching that movie.
Congratulations on not having a lesbian daughter. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
no. But
I'm just saying that's a good litmus test for lesbianism, because if you're not attracted to Chris Pine as a woman, what are you? What man would you be attracted to?
Oh my! Well, Chris Pine is amazing.
He's perfect. He's above average,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's above average. Yeah, he sells BMWs, Felk, right? So he's a good guy.
Is he the VO or is he
totally
on
the BMW voice? BMW voice, BMW device voice, BMW voice.
Of car spokesman, we got John Hamm for Mercedes.
Yeah.
We got Matthew McConaughey for Lincoln.
Yep.
We got
a bunch.
Tom Hiddleston for Jaguar.
Really?
Yeah. He's been in 2 ads. I don't know if he's still doing it though.
The voice? He's the voice?
No, he's on camera driving them.
I know he's on camera, but he's not the voice. The other people you're talking about are the voices.
Well, McConaughey's on camera.
Yeah, but I think he also does. I mean, he does a lot of voice work for them, and not necessarily he's on camera.
Cut Hiddleston out. I'm sure there's more. I can't remember them.
I think Krasinski's a voice. I think there's a bunch of them out there.
Krasinski's pretty good. Voices. I know you don't like Krasinski, but I think he's pretty good. But I'm gonna.
No, I like him. I'm gonna give it to him for Captain America.
In terms of spokesperson for car, I still say Ham's the reigning best. His voice is just perfect.
I don't like Ham. I don't like Ham as a voiceover guy.
His ads play before our episodes a lot. Our service really likes him.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. I honestly don't like Ham as a VO voice, and I probably would have loved his VO voice if I never saw Don Draper. But I have too much attachment now to him as an actor, and I can't get past it. A lot of the other actors, you just don't catch their voice. Billy Crudup did the best voice ever. He did MasterCard, and you would never know that was Billy Crudup. But when you hear him turn it on, you're like, oh my God, that's totally the MasterCard voice. For everyone else, there's MasterCard. That's Billy Crudup.
Let's go to Jalopnik. 3 stories down. So why do we think Mike Pence abruptly returned to the White House? That's a good thing to have on a car blog. All right. Oh, God. Trump is getting his tanks and fighter jets in Washington, D.C. after all. 5th story down. We'll scroll down.
I'm worried about the infrastructure on those streets, honestly. Like, I don't know if that's good for the streets, is it?
I don't know why everyone's so pissed. I don't know why everyone's so pissed off about.
To have those cars and tanks on them.
We have fucking jets fly above
that's fine.
Baseball games all the
time,
but like tanks as part of a fucking 4th of July parade, everyone freaks the fuck out. It's like, well, they're not gonna fire on people.
No, they're not gonna fire them. I'm worried about the damage honestly done to streets. They could do a lot of damage to the actual streets.
Okay, well, that's maybe a reasonable concern. I have not heard that concern.
Well, that's my concern. They're gonna destroy the streets with these things.
Like, we might as well use them for parades. They're not going to war because Hillary's not president, and we're not at war.
We're not at war.
Well, we're not further at war. We're technically still kind of at war.
I love, like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, you're like, we might be at war with Iran. I don't know.
Yeah. You think we wouldn't be?
No, I don't think so. No.
I assure you, she would not have be this far in peace talks with North Korea.
See.
Now, do we want to make peace with North Korea? That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe I kind of missed the Bush days when we just said, like, let's just say Saddam had something to do with it, and then we can finally get rid of him, like we were supposed to in the early 90s.
But maybe Saddam was rallying up, and keeping really bad people at bay in the end, and that's reality.
I miss President. I miss the Bushes so much.
All the Bushes?
Yeah, they're all dead now.
Read my lips.
Well, the best Bush is dead at the ripe old age of 94 fucking 7 or whatever.
Should we even finish this episode at this point?
W's mostly painting dogs.
That
seems to be what he's doing right now. I'd really like to know what our country should be doing, but you're painting dogs.
And cats. Did he paint cats too?
He paints cats too. People just like send him photos of their pets and he paints them.
I love that. That's awesome.
And Jeb's, he's still being Jeb.
Please clap.
Please clap. All right. So, well, I mean, what do you want to do? Do you want to do the fucking next theory? Because the next theory is Gilmore Girls is Rory and Caesar were classmates. What the fuck does that mean? That might as well.
I don't even know. That's gibberish.
That's gibberish to me.
I don't know what that is. I honestly don't know what that is. Rory plus Tristan plus Dean equals chaos is the clip they attached to it. What is this?
I have never seen
this one. Just read it through, and who gives a shit?
I've never seen this an episode of Gilmore Girls.
Same. I've never seen it, but I've heard good things.
I'm surprised you haven't. But because it does seem to be a thing that a lot of men say is like, oh, it's great, because my wife watches it and I've seen a bunch of episodes, but it's actually really fun. And I'm like, okay, but I don't have a wife to put Gilmore Girls on at this point, so I don't have to get exposure.
I have
to Gilmore
a wife
Girls.
that has seen it. I think I don't think she's seen all of them.
How much of a Gilmore Girl? She's not that much of one.
I don't think she. Well, I think it came back, right? Like did a whole nother series again recently. So.
Oh yeah.
I'm not entirely sure she's seen any of that at all.
I do know it has immense connections to the MCU in the sense that because it had Sean Gunn and Chris Pratt, and you have to imagine them knowing each other was a factor.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess they must have. Yeah.
And the inevitable, casting and everything. So.
Yeah. It was an issue though. Apparently, with casting Chris originally Pratt.
It wasn't.
They were worried.
No.
They were worried.
James did not want him.
He was too fat.
And Sean apparently talked him into it, kind of.
Crazy.
Too fat. But obviously, they can fix that.
And he's perfect. He's perfect. He embodies Star-Lord. He embodies Peter Quill.
I still think Marvel should brand the workout, like, and open up like CrossFit.
MCU 90.
No, just a CrossFit program that CrossFit gyms can buy into and be like the MCU plan, and they base it on the trainers that they regularly use.
I don't think they want to do that because there's some secret there, I'm sure, that they just don't want people to know.
And the secret is that people will do it and then not get the results that Pratt and Hemsworth got because they have doctors, Disney doctors, or mouse doctors as they're sometimes referred, shooting them full of HGH. And without the HGH and maybe some steroids, you're not going to get the kind of results. Because, I mean, in particular, in Ragnarok, I looked up Hemsworth's age. He's about slightly older than me. He's got his arms look like they're about to explode. They're as good as not as but close to as good as Arnold's Predator arms. It's just that no one has the frame, the muscle that Arnold has, so they can't be quite as good. But like and we know for a fact the only way Arnold got those arms is steroids.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Just rewatched Ragnarok the other day, and I fucking love that movie. That is one of the best Marvel films like out there for sure.
You cannot get that at a Planet fucking Fitness.
No, or a Planet Hollywood.
Not even, well. There's still one Planet Hollywood. I mean, there's still Planet Hollywood in Vegas. There are Planet Hollywoods.
Yeah, is it a whole hotel now, right?
I've stayed there. It was way overpriced.
I bet.
And part of that was because I went when the McGregor fight was happening. So I didn't know. So I paid like double what I should have because everywhere on the strip that was close to the event was booked up. But yeah, they have hot dancers. They have a Planet Hollywood restaurant in there, kind of. I think it's called something else, but they have the classic Planet Hollywood like recipes. The food was still there, and I was able to get Planet Hollywood shit.
This is the Gilmore Girls.
No, we're not doing it. We're done with the Gilmore Girls. We're moving on. And finally,
I'm gonna say it's confirmed. I'm gonna say confirmed.
Confirmed,
sure.
Absolutely. Tristan plus Kristen plus Dustin, or is it Rory plus Tristan plus Dean?
No, it's Gilmore Girls. Rory and Caesar were classmates. Well, good. They were classmates. That's
nice.
Rory's
a girl.
Who's Rory?
Rory's a girl. Rory's the Gilmore Girl. Alexis Bledel.
Oh, is she now?
Yeah.
Who's classmates?
Who's in Sin City? What?
Caesar? Who the fuck's Caesar?
Caesar is the Andy Serkis played character from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Wait, that's
the
not
ape.
the character with the ape and
Caesar
Rory with the
is
school.
home.
Who, I don't know what the fuck this one is. I don't care.
I've never watched an episode. What are they gonna do? And then
I am so sorry, Cool Boy Nation. If someone out there is like loves Gilmore Girls, Gilmore Girl. If you love it and you were like upset about this, please write us, okay, and explain the theory to us.
The next one is the peddler in Aladdin is actually the genie, which I believe we covered in full last week when it was also a fan theory.
No, we didn't really talk about that. They talked about the peddler in the sense that he's peddling goods, or maybe they talked.
No,
about
they
him
specifically
being
said
the
that he's the genie at the beginning of the movie, and like, yeah, that's confirmed.
Well, I think this is something that people thought a lot back in the day when you'd see him because he has 3 fingers, and they do the animation later with other characters. They have 4 fingers and a thumb.
I don't know.
He has 3 fingers and a thumb, so it's obviously like it's whoa, what's that? But for me that kind of was always the connection. But I guess they did later come out and they were like, Ron Clements, the director of Aladdin, did say that's true. Or no, he said, I saw something that speculates that the peddler at the beginning of Aladdin is the genie. That's true. That was the whole intention originally. So there you go.
I wonder if he really talks like that.
He does. And then he continued on, of course. He said, we even had that at the end of the movie where he would reveal himself to be the genie. And of course, Robin Williams did the voice of the peddler. Just through story changes and some editing, we lost the reveal at the end. So that's an urban legend that's actually is true.
And apparently,
but he does say, you want to go ahead and read that one? Go ahead.
Nevertheless, don't get too excited.
Oh,
not all of your Aladdin theories are true. You hear that, Aladdin theorists?
There's so many out there.
Not all of your fucking Aladdin theories are true.
Guys, we're going to do an entire episode of Aladdin theories.
Like, is Will Smith bisexual and has been hiding it for a long time? At the advice of Tom Cruise.
6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, right?
At 6 degrees. Well, no, it's
6 Degrees.
Yeah, 6 degrees of Will. Wait, what's the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon Will Smith thing though?
6 Degrees is a film, right?
No, 6 Degrees of
Kevin Bacon
Separation is a film that Will Smith is in. 6 degrees of
Kevin Bacon, and don't they run around naked and like chase each other and everything?
Well, he plays a gay man in 6 Degrees of Separation. That has nothing to do with 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. That's just a game that takes the 6 Degrees of theme that 6 Degrees of Separation was already being made about.
But Kevin Bacon's in that movie, isn't he?
No.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Did you think Kevin Bacon was in 6 Degrees of Separation?
I've never seen the movie.
Well, then you're really bad at playing 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon because you get that one wrong.
I would absolutely get that one wrong for sure.
No, he's not in. Kevin Bacon is not. 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon is just a game based on the 6 Degrees of theme which is a phrase or a saying or whatever, and that's what the movie was based on. I'm pretty sure. Also, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon is cool because it has the same stressed syllable pattern as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He goes 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Felk, you never even finished your actual joke though. Nevertheless, don't get too excited. You want to get to the whole take off your clothes thing. We never even got there.
I don't care anymore. We did this one already.
It says, nevertheless, don't get too excited. Not all of your Aladdin theories are true. For instance, the film's title character, Aladdin, never said, good little girls, take off your clothes. It has been debunked by Scott Weinger, or I guess Weinger.
You added to that.
But hey, not every conspiracy can be a winner. No, it's not just take off your clothes. It was good little girls, take off your clothes. That's literally what the thing was that people thought Aladdin said. But when he goes, down, kitty, take off your clothes. Earlier, it sounds like good little girls. There's a weird little thing.
So he does say take off your clothes.
He doesn't.
No. What is it? So it's down, kitty, then what?
Something else.
Oh, okay. It's getting hot in here. So take off all your clothes. I am getting so hot.
He's good kitty, down boy.
Off. Okay. Well.
Then he says, good teenagers, take off your clothes, is what people think.
That was confirmed film fan theories and a bunch of other stuff. And every single one of those theories blew my fucking cock. Now it's time to blow my load. Look out, my ball. I've never called it that.
Bow.
Look out, my ball.
Look out, my bow pal.
Did you not type the second one? Look out, my bell. I'm gonna explode.
Explode.
Cool Boy Nation. Tell us about any of your funny or interesting film fan theories that you heard or came up with on your own. Or anything else we talked about this episode. I may have said I may have said some things. Also, if you have any question or any more insight into the confirmed film fan theories that we discussed this episode, then let us know by emailing us at thecoolboyspodcast@gmail.com. New episodes come out every week, but usually on Tuesdays, including last episode and maybe this one. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Cool Boys and review us on Apple Podcasts. Or if you're on a PC and listening to this on a computer, iTunes.
What?
Because it's still iTunes on the PC side, because they can't do the Apple Podcast and all that shit because there's Windows equivalents. You can also donate to us on Patreon. We're on other things too. Review us on the Android podcast store too. That is separate reviews, and I don't have access to that. Actually, I do. I should check to see if we have any reviews. I'm guessing we don't have any reviews.
Who knows?
Anyways, go to donate to us on Patreon at patreon.com/coolboyspodcast.
Yeah, just give us some money.
We have one currently. Please check out our other great Cool Boy Central content with Batman and Beyond, featuring Ballard and Steve. Available on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube. You didn't update that one. Thanks for listening. Stay free.
No, it's updated.
No, it says on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Oh, it says iTunes. God damn it. All right, yeah.
That's not out yet, though. It's still iTunes. Like, they haven't released that update yet. That's when the next OS comes out.
When does that happen?
September.
Who gives a shit?
September. It's still iTunes currently. But in the future, if you're listening to this in the future,
iTunes or Apple Podcasts, just say whatever you want.
But most likely you'll be listening to it on the podcast app on your iPhone, or the podcast app on your Android phone.
Yeah.
Or if you're in a Sony movie like Far From Home, which is our next episode, you'll be using a Sony phone, and that's the same true of Into the Spider-Verse, because anytime you're in a Sony movie, everyone uses Sony Xperia phones, which have 0.3% of the market share. So it's kind of fucking weird to see everyone using Sony Xperia phones, especially when they're animated. That every time one shows up in Into the Spider-Verse, pulls me out a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think anytime you're watching a Sony film in general and you just see that everyone's using like Sony products, it's a little bit.
It's fine
ridiculous.
when it's a Sony monitor, like, and they're showing a computer, but or whatever, or Sony TV, because Sony TVs are everywhere. They have a good market share. But no, I've never seen a Sony Xperia phone in the real world once. And so for a movie to be about multiple universes, all the different crazy universes, but in every universe, everyone only uses a phone that has 0.3% of the market share. Yeah. That product placement takes me out a little bit.
I don't mind if it's in like positions of authority, like you get like, people from like law enforcement or something like that using it. Like then I'm like, whatever, sure, whatever, that's fine. But yeah, when it's like just random characters, like just so happen, like it's like, come on, give me a break.
Well, Peter Parker and Miles and MJ all use Sony phones. Right. It's like, across different dimensions.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, so.
Thank you for listening. Stay free, Cool Boy Nation. Until next time, it's Bizies from Flim Flam Filk.
And that's Bizies from Big Fan Ballard. You ever seen Big Fan before? That's a good movie.
With Patton?
Yeah, with Patton, yeah.
I have not.
It's Josh Trank was the editor on it.
Oh, that's weird.
You are outstanding American boy.
You have excelled in all things.
I pump while I dump. Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Oh, yeah. So cool.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Get out of here, damn silly. Get out of here!
Oh, yeah.
This episode of the Cool Boys Podcast was brought to you by
We don't have to ever finish the themes in this new world of Cool Boys podcast.
No, we never have.
I don't know. I don't even know what I fucking talked about this episode. Did I went on a rant about the frogs being gay? You know, I don't like them putting chemicals in the water.
I just got a new frog.
You just got a frog?
I got a Pac-Man frog. Yeah. It's actually for my son's birthday, and we got a frog for him because he wanted a creature of some sort, something different. He wanted a chameleon, and a chameleon is an expert level reptile. So we went with a beginner level amphibian, and it's a Pac-Man frog. And my son wanted to name him Thor, and just by chance, Thor turns into a frog called Thorg, Frog of Thunder, and that's an actual character from Marvel, right? From Marvel Comics.
Well, so is the chameleon.
Is Thor turns into a chameleon?
No, a chameleon is a Marvel character. Is the half brother of Kraven the Hunter.
No, Throg is literally a frog that is Thor.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's a frog holding Mjolnir with a hammer, you know, and the wings on the helmet and the cape and the things and the realms and the medallions and all that shit. And well, the chameleon's just the guy that can just change faces, who may or may not be in Spider-Man Far From Home. We'll find out. Woo! We're seeing that next week.
I want Beta Ray Bill.
I want Beta Ray Bill too.
I want Beta Ray Bill to piss off Nolan. Because he's seen I don't know who that is anymore, but he's seen talking squirrels, he's seen talking trees, but he sees like a guy with kind of a horse head, he's gonna go, all right, I'm fucking done.
Well, he's already seen the skeleton of the horse head in 2 Guardians of the Galaxy films.
And he's gonna walk out and go into a Batman movie, and then the Batman movie is gonna have fucking Man-Bat, one of the most iconic and like long-standing Batman villain characters, or not even really a villain, he's more of just an antagonist in Batman lore. And Nolan's gonna go, fuck bats, no, fuck that, and walk out.
He said he would walk out. He said he would walk out. At the beginning of the next Batman film, his favorite character in all of comics, he would walk out if it started with Man-Bat.
Yes.
Or if Man-Bat ever showed up, he would just walk out. Yeah.
And that's why he, even though it's one of the most important things in Batman in media, thinks that the Batman the Animated Series is for children, which is true, but it's also for adults.
Get some Cool Boys. So serious.